Welcome to Networking Arizona with host Carol Blonder. You'll hear interviews with businesses located throughout the valley. Networking, it makes a difference.
If I traded it all.
Welcome to the show, everyone. It is sort of beautiful out there today, and it's a great day for networking. I'm going to go right in with my first guest, who's been on with me several times. I have with me Stefan Brewer, and he is the owner of Legacy Tax Resolution Services. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Carol.
Listen to that. Not only do I love that song, you are the tax man. Let's talk a little bit about what you do. Talk a little bit about what you do.
Well, the things we do really well are tax preparation and planning, tax resolution, which is helping people with tax problems, and what I call profit maximization, helping people squeeze more money out of their existing business.
I like that.
Try to stick to what we do best.
Okay. Now, today, you wanted to talk about a couple of different things. You've got a giveaway. You know, there's a lot of people out there. First of all, why come on now? What is your reasoning? Because, you know, people think it's not tax time. Go ahead.
Other than enjoying being here with you?
I love that.
Just to have a conversation with people, just to kind of just clue them into what's going on, what's available, what their options are.
Get ready.
Yeah. So it's past tax time, so people have got some tax problems. They've got some tax debts that they haven't resolved. So I like to give people options.
Right. And another thing is that you have to start planning because, you know, you start to put things on the side and you're not really thinking about things, and it comes around just like that. But you can help people, and you can help people from all over, not only just this state, but nationwide.
Yeah, we do it all over the country. So I talked to a gentleman just this morning in Texas, probably an hour before I came.
Right. Now, also today you have a giveaway. And when you came in, I said, well, what is that? You said that you're going to give away, it's an offer in compromise eligibility evaluation. This is a $250 value. Tell us what that is.
Well, you have to determine whether you're even eligible for an offer in compromise. An offer in compromise is the ability to settle a debt with the IRS for less than the full amount. And it takes a considerable amount of time to do the analysis and determine whether they're eligible.
Okay, so how does one know? Obviously, you have to find out. Let's talk a little bit about some of these things. First of all, I want to open up the lines to the audience. You can either ask a question or not, but I want everybody to get this because if you have it, obviously, okay, the number one question is if somebody is going to want one of these, how much money, does it matter how much money they owe?
Oddly enough, no. You'd think it would.
Yeah.
You think that, we've settled over $1 million in debt before. So it oddly enough, the size of the debt doesn't make any difference. We've got people, the gentleman I talked to just the hour before, he was on Social Security, has very little disposable income, no equity in assets. He's a great candidate for an offer in compromise. He has a debt that he'll never pay off in his lifetime.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up the lines to the audience, and everyone is going to get, his offer is a compromise eligibility evaluation. You made it hard for me. I'm not so good at all of that. So, but anyway, it's a $250 value free to you. You can ask questions or not. No one's going to know who you are.
Absolutely.
But okay, you can call here at 602-277-5369 and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. And you can get in on this. And I think it's great. You do free consultations with everyone.
Yeah. We talk to people and find out. And I really believe in giving people options. What's available to you?
Right. And it is all about your options. And if you are in a tax situation and you owe taxes, you need options.
Yeah, just knowing what your options are make you feel a whole lot better.
Now, your website is legacytaxresolutionservices.com, and the phone number here, local, is 480-907-6644. Toll free, it's 800-829-7483, and our lines are open here. Again, you can ask questions or not, but you know what? You're going to get all of this information. It's a $250 value. Find out, are you eligible for a compromise eligibility?
Correct.
602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. So, you know, on the radio and on television, you see these commercials about settling your tax debt
for 10 cents of the dollar.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Is that really true?
It is true. It's true. And it's mathematical. what you're trying to determine is, in the remaining statutory period of time, because the IRS can only collect a debt for so long, in the remaining period of time, could the IRS, and how much could they possibly get for you? If they'll never get the entire debt, they're willing to settle, because that still makes sense for them to collect something from you.
They
now,
want something.
rather than nothing,
Right.
or a much, and chase you forever and get very little. So they'd rather settle with you now than try to collect it over a long period of time.
But the people that are offering that, even though, yes, it's true they can do it,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't they just say, whoa, why don't I call there? Why would I call you?
It's certainly not 10 cents on the dollar, 11 cents on the dollar. It's really financially based.
Okay.
It's what the IRS could collect from you over that remaining period of time. That's what they're willing to settle for. So if they know they'll never be able to collect the full debt from you, they're willing to settle. If they can get the full debt from you, it's what they call a full pay. They're not going to settle, and they shouldn't.
Well, here's the thing I feel about this. Just saying. Here, first of all, how long have you been doing this, Stefan?
I don't really count the number of years. It's been since '89.
So since
however many years that is.
So since 1989, you're here.
Yep.
You're a person that has been on my radio show many times, and you've helped a lot of people out there.
Oh, yeah.
And so, why would you want to call off the television and just say, call this 800 number, whatever it is,
Well,
and not talk to somebody who's been around?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that some of those, not a lot of them, but some of those are just lead generation sites. And unfortunately, a lot of the ones that are on the TV and the radio are. So you're not even talking to the company that you're going to work with. They're just going to pass you on to somebody else and sell that lead.
Sure.
So you're not working with a company. You're not calling a phone number and getting that person on the phone. And a lot of other companies, unfortunately, the people you're talking to are salespeople. You're not talking to someone who's the professional you're going to be working with. That's not what happens in our company.
Right. Now, again, your toll-free number, because you can help anyone from anywhere, is 800-829-7483. Here, the number is 480-907-6644. And our lines are open here, and everyone who's calling in, you're going to get his offer and compromise eligibility evaluation, and that is a $250 value free to you. 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So now tax season's, I don't even know if I asked you this already, so it's over with, but I'm afraid that I will owe again next year, okay? What do I start to do to plan for what I'm supposed to do? How's that?
Well, planning is the important thing. Planning ahead, trying to make those changes before next year. Look at what deductions you took. Make sure you're taking advantage of every deduction you're entitled to. And if you know you're still going to owe on top of that, then you've got to start to plan ahead and make some estimated payments, which are payments on a quarterly basis to get ahead. Well, to break even, I should say. You don't really want to get ahead.
Can you help somebody? There's a lot of people, if they haven't paid last year, most likely they ain't going to play this year. Most likely they haven't paid for a few years.
Yeah, that's when they start sticking their head in the sand, and we call that the ostrich method, and it doesn't work. Eventually what will happen is the IRS will file those tax returns for you. They call them substitute for returns, SFRs, and they are not to your advantage whatsoever.
Well, also, can you help them go back? How far can you help them?
You can go back and you can, to reduce a debt, you can go back forever. But to get a refund back, you can only go back 3 years.
Right. And if you owe money, would you there could be, possibly?
If you owe, let's say you haven't filed your 2006 return and the IRS filed it for you and you can reduce your debt, you most definitely should file your return.
Okay,
You
again.
can reduce it down to whatever the true return is.
And we have our lines open here. You can either ask a question or not. That's up to you. But everyone's going to get his offer and compromise eligibility evaluation. You do need to know there's things that you have to go through. Not everybody gets it. So he's offering that to everybody out there. It's a $250 value. It's free to you. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. He's been doing this since 1989. He can help anyone nationwide. 800-829-7483 or here at 480-907-6644. It's Legacy Tax Resolution Services.com.
the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man.
So we are talking to the tax man, Stephen Brewer, and
That's my ringtone too.
I know. I love. First of all, I love the Beatles. Love that song. Always
I do.
have. Though there's so many people out there that they get themselves in a little trouble.
A lot.
I mean, and it's the bad things happen to good people.
And a perfect example, the gentleman I was telling you about earlier, that he took some money out of his retirement because he was on disability. He was going into disability. So he took a lot of money out of his retirement, and he couldn't deal with the taxes plus the penalty for taking it out. And now he's got a debt he can't pay for the rest of his life. So you start to ignore it, you hope it goes away, and it doesn't go away. It's not going to go away. You got to
That's a
resolve
conversation in itself. People have retirement, and they don't even realize, maybe they don't even think about it because they just think they could take that money, but
Right.
there are consequences for doing
Exactly.
that. And that's the tax man comes in.
That's right. I talked to somebody the other day. They were talking about taking money out of a retirement account to buy a condo for a sister they wanted to help out. And I said, you can do that, but it's going to cost you.
Right. And then you can get yourself in trouble. And then what you need to do is you can pick up the phone and you can give Stephen a call. He's been doing this since 1989. He does free consultations, and he is offering for everyone who's calling in, for people that, and again, this may not be for you, but you might know somebody, and that's another thing I like to say, because that's the reason why I do this show. It's not just everybody that's listening, it's also who they know.
Yeah. Or even just, even not so much the giveaway. Give us a call.
Yeah.
If you got a question about something, we love clients that talk to us before they make a decision that's going to come back to bite them.
Hey, don't make a mistake. Give them a call. Again, their phone number local, it's 480-907-6644. The nationwide phone number is 800-829-7483. And then you can call here and get that offer and compromise from us. It's a $250 value free to you. And the reason why there is that is I want to get that out for anyone that didn't hear it after the commercial break, but there is a process. You can't, people that even hear about these on the radio and stuff like that, you to get it done right, you need to have somebody go over it with you.
And this is one of those things that I don't suggest clients. I've had a few people that have done it and had some success with it. But on the whole, we understand a lot of the rules. We know the tricks and trades. We can squeeze more. So for every dollar that we squeeze, that's dollars multiplied that you're going to pay less in tax.
You want to have somebody who has a sharp pencil. That's what I like
For sure.
anyway. So again, you can call here. Our number here is 602-277-5369. And toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Check them out. It's Legacy Tax Resolution Services with an S.com. Okay, let's go back into some of the things that we were talking about. Oh, this is interesting. Daycare services. So if I was to provide that, okay, how do I report this income, and do I have to report it? Is that if I have it in my home or what?
Yeah, most definitely you have it in your home.
Okay.
And most of the people do. Or I've had some clients that go to someone else.
Right,
provide.
but a lot of people, I think I have a neighbor that does that. I see that going on. Yeah. So
You
what's
see the
going
kids
on?
going on in the morning?
I do, every morning.
It's a business like any other, but it's a unique business because they're using their home and a large portion of their home as their business location. So they have some deductions that they're entitled to that I'm finding a lot of them don't seem to understand.
Wow, that's interesting. But anybody who has an in-home base, sort of a base business, doesn't mean that you're multi-level marketing or anything like that. A lot of people today, they have their own businesses and they're running them out of their houses.
Yeah.
Most everybody today.
And a lot of them have that
rules.
business. Yeah, they have the business use of home, and there was this bad connotation years ago that this was a deduction you didn't want to take. That's changed so much.
Yeah, that's because everybody's houses have an office in them now.
Yeah,
They build them that way.
That's one reason, but the rules have changed considerably.
Yeah.
If you do at least administrative work and you have an exclusive area in your home that you use for business, there's no reason why you shouldn't take that deduction. But the child care business is unique because during certain hours they use a majority of their
The kids are running everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So they use a majority of their home. So theirs is calculated uniquely based on the time period that they use the full house compared to a section of the house.
Wow, that's interesting. So if I were to give a gift of money to a friend or a family member, I only wish I could do something like that. But if anyone wants to do that to me, that's fine. That's a good thing. Is experience financial difficulties. Could I declare this as charitable contribution?
It's not a charitable contribution because it's not a contribution to a charitable organization. It's a nice thing to do, but unfortunately, this is another one of those things we've run into where somebody's come and said, I gave some money to my aunt. Can I just deduct it? Well, no, it's probably a gift and it's a nice thing to do, but since you didn't give it to a charitable organization, it's not deductible. Now, had they changed that and called us up and said, hey, how can I make this happen and how can I make it deductible? I would have said, can you give it to the church? And then the church could give it indirectly to, well, other people.
Would the church do that?
They would do it and provide help to not only that person but other people. So
Right.
could you indirectly help your aunt? Yes, you could.
Wow.
But not directly like that.
But there are certain ways, and that's where you can come in and give them that food for
That's
thought.
what I'm saying. So give us a call, talk to us, and say, this is what I'm thinking about doing. How can I make this deductible, or what's the consequences of this?
His number is 480-907-6644. He's been doing it since 1989. Nationwide, toll-free, 800-829-7483, Legacy Tax Resolution Services.com. And our number here is 602-277-5369. And toll-free, it's 1-866-536-1100. And everyone who's calling in is getting the offer and compromise eligibility evaluation, and that is a $250 value free to you.
It's a lot to say, huh?
It is for me. Okay. So how about this? Do I pay taxes on child support?
Child support is not taxable income. It's not deductible. Alimony is the opposite. If you pay alimony, you get to take a deduction for it. If you receive alimony, it's income to you. Child support is not a deduction or an income.
So if somebody's paying child support, they too cannot get.
They cannot take that as a deduction. So that
It is what it is.
right. It's you're supporting a member, of your family. It's not intended to be a tax deduction.
Right. That's supposed to be. You're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. I received a notice from the IRS that a lien has been filed with the county. What does that mean? And am I about to live through that or not?
So a lien is really the IRS telling the general public that you owe a debt. It's the IRS's way of protecting themselves. So if you try to sell an asset, technically, any asset that you own, there's a lien against it. The liens that get recorded with the county recorder are obvious because they're recorded, and it's very obvious that you have a lien against you.
Does that mean that you get levied?
A levy is different.
Okay.
A levy is actually the taking of something. A levy is taking of your money out of your bank account. It's taking money out of your paycheck. That's a levy. It's a taking of something.
But I've heard that the IRS can do that.
They can do both. They will most likely, if you have a debt over $25,000, they're going to file a lien. That's the way they protect themselves.
Wow.
If you continue to not pay and deal with the problem, they will eventually get to that stage where they do a levy.
There's a lot of people that try and do these things themselves. Okay, and they also hear this on the television about, especially that one lawyer that has all those different websites now that they can help everybody with different things. What do you think about that?
I spend a big part of the time on our website and the content that I write on our website telling people what they can do themselves and what they probably ought to let a professional do. Mm-hmm. And offering compromise probably ought to let a professional do. Setting up a payment plan when you owe a small debt, you could probably do that yourself. You really don't need somebody's help.
Right, but I wouldn't want to call because we've talked. I was talking to somebody else today about something else that people would do. It's completely irrelevant to taxes, but when people get in trouble, one of the things that I think that they do the most is talk too much
and not take action.
Or just, they don't know. They think they think they know more than what that person does. Or they're trying, I don't know why they do that, but if they do talk too much, then they might say something that could literally get them in trouble because I'm sure all of those are.
And that's a perfect example of the IRS.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's why I said it.
I wrote an article just the other day and put it up on LinkedIn just saying, okay, this is what when you contact the IRS collections agency, this is what you can expect. They're going to ask you a lot of collection information. They want to know how to collect from you.
Sure.
Eventually,
they're like policemen. They know what to ask.
They might get to that conversation where they're talking about helping you, but at first they want to know how to collect from you. So if you go in there with that expectation and you plan for it and you understand what the rules are, maybe you can take care of it yourself. But if you have a large debt, you probably don't want to.
Right. I wouldn't want to no matter what. Now, listen, he can help anyone from across the country. The number toll-free, 800-829-7483. And here local, it is 480-907-6644. And he is offering for everyone to get his offer in compromise eligibility evaluation, and it's a $250 value free to you or anyone you know. I'm going to let you call throughout the rest of the show for this. Give us a call here at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Check him out. It is LegacyTaxResolutionServices.com.